Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm really happy to be here, and I hope that you're happy to be here too, because I've actually come from the future today. I've got to get back in my time machine in a little bit, but I have to give you such a massive welcome and a warmth because you've made me feel so at home here. It's my first time in India, and I have to say it's one of my most favourite places in the world now, so forget about everywhere else. I'm coming straight back. Thank you. So a little bit about me. I am the person that got you in trouble when you were young. I'm also the person who you probably tell your kids off about because I've created so many applications and games, and you've probably played them all. You've all heard of Tomb Raider, yeah? I helped create Lara Croft. You've heard of Master Chief and Cortana. I've also worked on Halo. And Optimus Prime is my guy because I was one of the only women to create a character in the Transformers universe. But I've also worked for a bunch of other companies who are as awesome. And one of the things that I do in terms of digital transformation is drive people towards the future. So today, that's exactly what I want to talk about. I want to think about what the metaverse means to us. The metaverse is such a dirty word in the West because people don't know how to package this word either as a philosophy or as something that really has a fundamental function in the future. So therefore, what does the metaverse mean to you is the first step that you'll make in terms of creating a metaverse for yourselves, either from a country perspective or from the perspective of individual experiences. We always start with the Gartner hype cycle because it's really important. At the moment in the West, we're going through the peak of inflated expectations and the trough of disillusionment. Everybody in the West is really fed up because Mark Zuckerberg lost $10 billion. But I see this as a really great opportunity because the metaverse, as you'll discover today, is not just about one thing. It's about many different things, and you can definitely be a part of it. The facts and figures that matter are really, really important because in 2020, this opportunity was worth $427 billion. In 2024, it will be worth $487 billion. So it's grown massively, and it's going to continue to grow exponentially, where McKinsey think that this is a $26 trillion marketplace for anybody that wants to get involved in the future. Now, you can see here on the left-hand side, this is a project that I've just done for Alexander McQueen, who's a very famous fashion designer and wanted to bring their collection into the metaverse for people to be able to wear on their avatars. And so a lot of people asked me this in the AMA yesterday, what is the Metaverse Fashion Week? Over here on this side is Decentraland. It's a very popular metaverse and it's focused around how we look, what we do, brand activations. These things are really important when we're talking about the metaverse. So bringing these two things together is the Metaverse Fashion Week, and it happens from the 28th of March till the 31st of March. So any budding fashion designers that want to create digital creations should definitely think about applying. And if you want more information, please don't hesitate to talk to me after this. Back to the Gartner hype cycle again. And what the Gartner hype cycle does is it shows us the curve with which things are created, the breaks that we take, and then how technology stables itself. At the moment, the possibilities of the metaverse are vast because they contain everything from ChatGPT, which I'm sure everybody's sick and tired of hearing about, all the way through to gaming. Did you know that 40% of all activations inside the metaverse, that includes all of the top platforms, are games related? So the natural movement of gamers is going from the traditional single player experience and into something that is more social and shared. And that's really important because the metaverse is all about sharing and social application. But what is it? It should be persistent, interoperable, and mobile. We're a mobile-first experience. You should definitely be able to have this on your commute in the morning into work. You should also be able to take this anywhere with you. I've got the Metaverse with me right now on my iPad. Why not? I want to be able to take my avatar wherever I go. What it shouldn't be is a walled garden. It shouldn't be private. I think Camille talked about private 5G networks previously, and that's fine to power your particular experience, but it's very limited if you're just going to be on your own. And so headsets, handsets, these things are very closed. If people are telling you that the only way you can get into the metaverse is if you have a $500 headset, that's crazy. There's a lot that you can do with your phone. Augmented reality is one of these things. Additionally, just sitting in front of your computer is good enough. Mobile engines and technologies include Unity and Unreal. If you want high quality definition graphics, you will use Unreal technology, which is made by Epic. And if you want something that's more mobile, Unity is your friend. So think about the types of technology stacks that you want to be able to use in creating your perfect metaverse, if you are indeed a creator. Now, how do metaverses work? They have to be connective. That's really important. I did say in the AMA yesterday that, my Fitbit here, if I want to have a competition with anybody in this room, and we have to use online platforms or technologies to be able to find out what the other person's doing, that's truly metaversal because it's social and it's an application we can take anywhere with us, and it's persistent. That means that it's open for business even when we're asleep. And these things, again, are so super important to us being able to build out the perfect metaverse. The architecture is important because we need to build an architecture that is, as I said, high definition or mobile first. And those two things need to be interoperable. So in the case of Decentraland, for example, they use proprietary software that is based on Unreal technology. And for the mobile version, of course, they use proprietary technology that's built on the Unity engine. And then the sustainability angle. I mentioned Alexander McQueen. They are slowly digitally transforming themselves to be a digital-first atelier. That means that all fashion designs will be created using digital applications like Clo 3D or Marvelous Designer First. And what's more important is we won't need to either harm the atmosphere and the climate by sending one sample over from Manchester to Bangladesh or Shanghai. And we will be able to focus on being able to use great technologies like volumetric capture, augmented reality, etc., for us to view in real time what a piece of clothing looks like before we buy it. So what can we do in the metaverse? Yes, we can use VR. Yes, of course, it's great. But it's not inclusive. VR is not the only way to be able to access. And also, it doesn't meet the requirements of the poverty gap, and therefore, it doesn't meet the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. So we need to make sure that when we're creating something, it is definitely a something, because it's alive now. I'm going to show you some examples. We need to make sure that it's geopolitical and geosocial leveled. We need to be universal across the board. That's where the verse part comes from. So that universality means that we can use VR or not to be able to have the same experience. For training purposes, I actually have built quite a few training simulators in the metaverse for people to run system, process, digital twins, and simulations for everybody from avionics to safety equipment in big corporations. And then finally, the Back to the Future part is real fun. Tencent, which is a huge Chinese company, have recently formed a partnership with the Louvre in Paris to archive every single piece of their work. So every single item that's in the Louvre will be available as a digital construct. So if we want to take the Mona Lisa, we can now take it and put it onto the digital walls of our apartment in Avakin Life or in Decentraland or the Sandbox. And I think that's amazing, because what we're doing is we are preserving the past for people tomorrow, because the future doesn't belong to us, does it? It belongs to our children, it belongs to the future. And if we're not creating opportunities in a clever digital way to enable people to use it, then we're not really doing the metaverse correctly. So, what should we be looking for when we think about the metaverse? A good example of the metaverse would be, because this is about the good, the bad and the ugly, we should be looking at something that meets the requirements of the user experience. Is it easy to onboard? Can anybody play? Does it have a login? We don't do logins in the metaverse. Logins are so old, they're so last decade. What we're looking for is a universal way to be able to connect people directly and quickly into what it is that we're creating. And just like Camille, my clicker is also broken too. So I'm just going to keep going also. And what should we not be looking for? Well, I think we shouldn't be looking for just brand-activated experiences. So currently, there are a few brand-activated experiences that are out there. One is the Louis Vuitton game. I guess everybody's played that because they had 1 billion downloads. It's absolutely terrible. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. Why? Just because it's a digital billboard. It's really just saying, buy more handbags, buy more luxury. What's the point in that? Also, Walmart has an experience inside Roblox. Now, you've all heard of Roblox. Roblox is one of those platforms which is aimed at people under the age of 13. My big question always when people say, yeah, we're doing this amazing brand activation inside Roblox. I'm like, why? Are you only appealing to people under the age of 13? I mean, they can't buy kind of over-the-counter pharmaceuticals, so why on earth would Walmart or Walgreens be putting their stuff into a Roblox universe? It seems absolutely crazy. And then finally, Fortnite is a real problem. Now, there's probably quite a lot of Fortnite fans in here, but they've fallen foul of huge corporate losses in terms of shares because they have not been taking care of the welfare of young people as they play. So safety is very important in the metaverse, and I'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end of this, but please be mindful that if we're not adhering to the law, especially the US federal law, which is pretty huge, they will come down on you like a ton of bricks if you do anything wrong. We want to be in a situation or a position where we can ensure that people can play safe and be absolutely safe across the board. Now, one of the things that I'm pretty passionate about when I do metaverses is I don't want to do something that's really kind of ugly. I don't want to create things that are really unnatural. My idea is that with the metaverse, we can create something that is as natural as possible, that it feels like we're walking completely from this room out into the lobby, or I can have a chat with anybody on the front row here, but I'm doing it with my avatar. That's the type of experience that we need to create when we make the metaverse. One of the things that we don't want to be doing with the metaverse is we don't want to be getting people to pay for anything, because I think that paying for things really doesn't work. So I would say that an example of an ugly metaverse would be something where you have to buy in. So for example, League of Legends here is counted as a metaverse, but in order for you to proceed through their universe, you have to buy things all the time. Buy, skins. And then, of course, dressed. I don't really find this to be a solid application that lives outside of the technology that it's built for. So if you're just building it for a phone and it only can exist on a phone, it's only going to be good for a phone. Unless you're really thinking about connecting people socially, it's really not going to work. Do not build your own metaverse. That's my big advice to you. It costs millions to build a metaverse, and why would we? When so many people have built metaverses for us, we've got absolutely nothing to worry about here, folks, because you can choose from Decentraland, which gives you land-driven marketable experiences, the Sandbox, which is aimed at people that like music and fashion. Yes, this is the slide you want to take pics of. And then also Spatial, which is for musicians, artists, galleries, etc. Zepeto is a South Korean-based brilliant metaverse which is focused on learning how to dance. It's absolutely fantastic. BTS regularly do appearances in there if you love BTS like I do. Avakin Life is aimed at adults aged 18 to 35, and Zwift is for all you sporties in the audience that want to meet your friends while you're out cycling. Well, you can do that from the comfort of your own home in a metaverse called Zwift. So there's no need for you to build your own metaverse because you'll find that the metaverse is there. What you have to build is ensuring there is a solid user experience for your end users, that they can connect to avatars, that they can connect to other applications and devices inside that space. That is really important. What we want to do with the metaverse is we want to find ourselves. That is actually me in my office in the metaverse. Yes, I have an office, and yes, I conduct meetings in there. So if you want to meet with me, you'll find out how at the end of this session. But in this metaverse, Avakin Life, what I'm able to do is live in an apartment, have parties, meet new friends, go shopping, do a variety of different things. But that's quite limited now. What brand activation should do for us in the future is it should give us the opportunity and the allowance to be able to have those items purchased inside the metaverse and delivered to our house. And that's what I'm doing with my company, Naked, at the moment with the Alexander McQueen collection. You should be able to wear it in Ready Player Me or in Yahaha, and you should be able to have any item that you like in that space delivered to your house. That's called G-commerce, games commerce, so look out for it. Are wallets safe? I'm suggesting that wallets are a passport or an opportunity for us to be able to do everything, rather like a passport. They are the passports of the future. So if you don't have a wallet now, I would invest in one. They're free. You can use anything from MetaMask to Solo Wallet to Binance. There are just so many. Go and have a look at Wallet Connect and select one from there. But you see all of these stories that are related to hackers, people doing nefarious things online, but we're not decentralizing know your consumer or know your client. So until we centralize or decentralize the law, we have no way of knowing how we can keep track of how people are using wallets, finances, technology, etc. And we can't dog food cybersecurity. That's really important because there isn't a one-size-fits-all to security. That's why we're trying to decentralize everything using Web3 and the metaverse, because we're a bit sick and tired, frankly, of enterprise software telling us how we should connect to devices, brands, or opportunities. It's not fair. So everything has to pass the MOM test, and if you don't know what the MOM test is, you're absolutely crazy, because if you're all designers sitting inside this space now, you will have definitely read the MOM test. If you can't get a 6-year-old or your grandmother to use your application, it's no good. Social spaces are on the rise. Decentraland is proof of this. It's doing a heck of a lot of education in this space, and it really wants to create this instantaneous exchange where I find out a piece of fact or knowledge or history, and then I pass it on to the next person and pass it on. And then we all learn either by osmosis or we learn by oral history. That's how we've always learned. Computers, PCs, the metaverse is not going to change any of that. We're still going to learn that way. It's just making that faster and more accessible. And accessibility is definitely key. We need to make sure that decentralization does not equal exploitation. The social hot takes here is that the DAO. the decentralized autonomous organization. This is a decentralized governmental policy. It also contains the opportunities to be able to do everything from marketing to QA. It's decided by all of us. So using the power of voting inside a DAO, we can decide whether your next pitch or idea is good or not so good. We can also decide the direction of travel of any particular organization or company inside the metaverse. It's a fantastic way of being able to have a say. And then finally, there is a dark verse, so be aware of it. And the dark verse actually relates to the fact that if we're all policing ourselves, who's policing us? Nobody, we are. So there is always going to be a nefarious community in every form of technology. We have to do our best using DAOs to make sure that that doesn't happen. I created the NFT standard in October 2021 on Ada Lovelace Day. So if you know who Ada Lovelace is, she is the foremost female coder and computer scientist of all time, the wizardess of computer science, words, numbers, everything. And I did it on her day. And the reason why was that I was sick and tired of people getting ripped off in buying non-fungible tokens. Non-fungible tokens should be the access point with which you can do other things. They must contain utility. So I created a standard, which was picked up by the IEEE, allowing you, when you buy an NFT now, to ensure that you know exactly what the digital rights management of that particular image is, or what the dimensions are of what it is you've bought, or how you can track it back. I've used that standard successfully for the Picasso Foundation, the Alexander McQueen collection, Louis Vuitton. I've done it for a variety of different luxury houses, and it is becoming the new digital asset class. Data is a currency, and that is really important. So the more that you choose to work with data in a meaningful way, the better opportunity you have to be able to move together in a positive way. Don't be afraid of data. Data is fantastic. It gives us the power to do anything. Nothing is impossible in the metaverse, and data is at the heart of it. It's the veins that are connecting everything inside the metaverse. Please use it, and please measure all of us, because it's really important as we go into a decentralized future that we're open to this. Don't try to react against it. But do make sure that children and vulnerable adults are looked after in this space. We have, at the moment, CEOP, COPPA. They're the two main governing bodies, as well as GDPR and GDPRK, for looking after privacy and data inside the metaverse and inside games. We will find, as we move on, that that won't be enough. So we will have to look at things like multi-factor authentication, more CIAM, more KYC, much more AML and KYC together you will find in the next few years in the metaverse. Get to know your terms. If you don't know about Web3 now, it's going to take you over in the next few weeks, months, years. So start to find out which organizations or tools suit you that live inside the Web3 world. So things like Mirror are going to take over the natural blogging tools that we've had of yore. Newsletters are created by Mirror as well. Discord is a very strong communication tool. And please talk to your regional councils or organising bodies, even technology bodies like NASSCOM. Find out where the funding lies to be able to help you to build your business in this space. Because I've heard, and I'm working with a company at the moment in Bhopal, who are being funded by the Indian government to help build metaverses. So please find out who those individuals are and reach out to them. What happens now? Well, your homework is to go into the metaverse. Find out what it is that you like. Get into it. Be excited by it. Figure it out. But do the user focus, do the user test, fix those pain points, be inclusive, and more importantly, create a community, because that creates the social element of everything the metaverse is built on. If you want to be in touch with me, you can find me in my office in Avakin Life. You can also find me on LinkedIn, and you can find me on Twitter too. I'm not on Instagram or WhatsApp. These are Web 2 applications. I'm only in Web 3, baby. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
For more interesting content, like, comment, and subscribe to our NASSCOM YouTube channel.